My name is Griffin Carpenter. I'm a senior researcher at the New Economics Foundation. We've been working on fisheries for a number of years now, and with Brexit coming up, there's a lot of new research questions that have come up. So for this particular report, we're looking at how Brexit changes fisheries management in Wales, and in particular around fishing opportunities. So are there new options for Wales to manage its fisheries different, in particular looking at quota fisheries, which aren't a big part of the Welsh fishery at present, but maybe they could be. So something that stands out is in the Brexit context, the needs of the Welsh fleet are very different from those in Scotland or Northern Ireland or England. So the Welsh fleet is mostly small scale, it's non-quota species, so shellfish like crabs, lobsters, scallops, whelks, and most of this is exported to the EU. So if we think about Brexit as a balance of opportunities like extra quota and risks like tariffs and non-tariff barriers, the different administrations and different fisheries are placed on that spectrum. And for Wales, there's a lot of risks here with any barriers to the EU market. What we're hoping is that there can be policy change on the other side so that Wales can leverage some of the opportunities and get extra quota. Some of this involves negotiations with the EU, but also with the UK government and the Concordat to try to make sure that Wales gets its fair share. That's the big question here, and some of this depends on what species Wales can negotiate. So for some things like herring, nephrops, there's not really a fishery at present. So the big question that the government is faced with is there some sort of industrial policy, industrial strategy around developing a fishery here, and to make sure that it's not just landed immediately and exported, but that there's some sort of job generation in Welsh ports and indeed the wider economy. Right now, a lot of fish species being landed are just exported right away to the EU market, but we might be able to develop a strategy that's more holistic. So it's about split 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3 of that is Welsh vessels, 1/3 is other UK, mostly English, and then the other 1/3 is European activity, actually Belgian vessels. Yeah, it's another thing that you need to balance in your considerations, that we want to make sure that there's economic activity taken from Welsh quota, or it's a public resource, so you want to make sure that it's delivering for the wider economy. So we might think about employing Welsh people or being landed in Welsh ports, but on the other hand, you're limiting the activity that the fleet's able to do, and we don't want some sort of situation where smaller and smaller regions do the same thing reciprocally. And right now, actually, most Welsh quota is landed abroad. It's landed in Ireland predominantly, and some in England. So there's this balance here about making sure some activity is taking place in Wales, but not limiting the fleet too much on the other side. So lots of big questions, and this is going to take a lot of work to design a good system.